we're not as emotionally intelligent as people like or women may think we are. Mm-hmm. We need to understand it from like a general concept before we can just be like, oh, I know what she wants. Like this is her.
And
I need a listen voice.
Know what she wants.
Mm-hmm. And plus, men are also brought up to be relied upon. So, for example, if you come to a man with like an issue and you crying, in his head, he like, for example, you got laid off. You come to your man like, I don't know how we gonna pay the bill. This and that third. You're like, okay, I got you, I got us. But and he has to be that tower. You can't go to a man like, baby, I just got fired. You're like, oh my God, we just got fired. Let's go make it worse. Let's go get you crying, he crying, and now y'all just make the whole world about him.
Man, you was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you were looking at that like,
you cry.
Exactly. You cry, nigga.
Now we on the group FaceTime with her best friend, and we all cry.
So, welcome to the Piece by Piece podcast. I'm your host, William Parham. Before we get started, Piece by Piece is a podcast towards mental health, self-improvement, and overall well-being. Now, we are all experienced in life, but none of us are professionals, so please take this with a word of advice. And we also highly recommend seek therapy if you need it. Now, to get started, like I said, I'm your host, William Parham, and this is our panel, introducing my co-host.
Man, smash, you already know.
And your boy, Takai.
Nice. And now we have five special guests today, by the names of
Dozy,
Avian, Josiah,
Santino, and Wanda.
Sweet. Nice to meet you all. Thank you for taking the time out your day to be here.
No problem.
Now, to get started, obviously we're going to be talking about mental health, but specifically we're going to be talking about dating and single parenthood. Hopefully, I'm assuming no one here is a single parent, but if you've had single parent experience growing up with one or a friend. So to get started, giving us some insight, what is mental health? Does anyone have a definition or would they like me to say?
I think it would be a good idea for you to start us off, then we can build off of that.
Thank you. All right, so mental health is a state of mind characterized by emotional well-being, good behavioral adjustments, relative freedom from anxiety, and disabling symptoms, and oh my gosh, that's my dad, and a capacity to establish constructive relationships and cope with the ordinary demands and stresses of life. That's according to the APA Dictionary of Psychology, so the American Psychological Association. Does anyone else have their own personal definition of what they would say mental health is?
I say mental wellness overall, how you see yourself. Self-esteem is a very big part of that. Maybe any illnesses that could, I know a lot of people suffer from schizophrenia. Also how you take care of yourself and also how you display yourself to the world.
Sweet. I like that definition. So now to get into our first topic, we're going to incorporate that into, parenthood, specifically single parenthood. So if you can all agree with me, I'm going to give the definition of the goal towards parenting, which is ensuring a children's health and safety, preparing a child for life as productive adults, and transmitting cultural values on top of that. Does anyone else have something to add, or do we all agree?
I agree. Yeah.
Perfect.
I concur.
Thank you. So, getting into it now, single parenthood and definitions. Definition of a single parent is an individual raising a child or children without the presence of a partner or spouse in the same household. So now, what comes with single parenthood? That's we're talking about mental health here. Increased stress levels, financial strain, mental health disparities, social support, and so on and so forth. But before I get into my definitions here, what do you guys think comes with being a single parenthood mentally?
I would say a double workload, because being a parent is a full job in itself, and to raise the next generation is a pretty big deal, and to half-ass it would be a gross bastardization of parenting.
Gross, like shameful?
Very haram, yes.
Okay, there we go. That's the word.
I'd say also relying on somebody else to fill in to a certain extent. Like you definitely got to rely on your family members to come help you raise that child. Like we always say it takes a village. So exactly. So and that's when you have two parents. So you're gonna definitely need some people to step up if you by yourself.
I like that. So to bounce off to what you're saying more, or for everyone to chip in here, what do you think the number one issue is for single parenthood, becoming a thing, flourishing in America?
I would say the biggest issue with single parenthood would be both parents or either one of the parents weaponizing custody or, the attention of the child.
Before that, I'm gonna say sex. Because that's what exactly. That's what makes the child. That's what makes the child. You know what I mean? So like I know like when I was growing up, we had like sex ed class in like 5th grade.
Right.
So I don't know if they still do that.
Yeah.
But like
I couldn't tell.
Yeah, but it's like more people are like taking out the whole like concept of contraceptives, like that's out the door. Like my little cousin, he just got a kid. He like 17. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro.
I swear, bro. And I remember I walked into his house, like, and I seen a crib. I was like, "Oh, I got a crib." He's like, "That's for my kid." I was like, "What?" So it was like,
I just missed the entire point.
no, but I'm saying exactly. So I'm like, it's like people like they just took out the concept of contraceptives completely. And it's like people just going in, and then at the back end, it's also like knowledge of what to do when that child does come, right? I know a lot of people have Planned Parenthood and like people who come in and fill that gap, but it's like also people that's a choice, like if you want to keep the kid or not, right. And people have to. I feel like a lot of information needs to be pushed like on a like higher scale for there to be any type of resolution. I like that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because they always say the best solution is prevention. So
it comes down to the sex at the end of the day.
It comes down to sex. Yeah.
Why do you think contraceptives aren't becoming as
Well used.
Yeah, like well used.
People say, "Oh, it feels better without condom." Like they so dumb, bro.
Short-term validation over long-term.
Not even that, but for their own self, bro.
Yeah.
I would say that a big part of that would be bragging rights. Just saying, "Oh well, my pull-out game is strong as hell, bro."
I'll personally, I don't think anyone says that. Like, I do not go up to my guys and I'm like, "Yo, my pull-out game."
People do? Yeah.
He said for personal bragging rights.
I'm gonna also say like the evolution of sex, right? Because look at this. Not only sex itself, but a lot of people don't even realize that like. Let's say in like the 80s, choking was not regular. Yeah. Like that was seen as like BDSM. Now it's regular. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like people have like pushed sex to the extreme, and also like dopamine levels, right? Yeah, people are so used to porn. Like let's get real here. People are so used to porn. Now it's like desensitizes people, and they need more stimulation in order to reach that orgasm. You know what I mean?
Correct. So it also heightens their expectations, though. Exactly. Porn's so far fetched from like real sex.
It's in movies.
Destroys people's sexual life too.
Correct.
Yeah, it destroys people's sexual life because
it'd be like that. So thank you all, because that actually helped answer my first question, which was how do societal factors contribute to the mental health challenges faced by single parents? So outside of porn and sex, what do you think are some other society judgments that put down on single parents?
All right, let's get real here. Yeah. So I'm gonna give us someone else. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Nobody talk about this, bro. The government is one of the biggest issues of why people like a lot of single parents happen, right? What people don't realize is the government incentivizes single motherhood basically because I'm gonna keep it real, because what happened in the 90s, the 1994 crime bill got instituted and a majority of black men got in prison. What happened next? It was a lot of single mothers having to raise kids by themselves, right? So the government came in on that. The government also the people who weren't incarcerated, right? A lot of women, they're able to get government aid if a man isn't in the house. Yeah, quite literally.
That's where it started.
Literally, if you make a certain amount of money. Right, that's also the second caveat. If you make a certain amount of money, the government is not going to give you aid, right? So first of all, dual income. If you haven't, that's not happening. That's first. Second of all, if the man is in the house, they're going to see that as like you're getting help from somewhere, right? So even on government documents, women are incentivized to say, "Oh, I'm a single mother." This, that, and the third. Like off rip, right? So now it's the government give a twofer, putting niggas in jail, and I don't know if we can curse on this.
No, you can't
put people in jail, and second of all, saying that if you by yourself, we're gonna give you money. So now the women's like, "Oh, I don't need no man because I can just get my money from the government." Boom.
Yeah.
Didn't they used to send people to actually look if there was a man in the
that's how it
family
started.
unit?
Yes, there is somebody.
So wait, they still do that?
Yeah.
They still send like people
Yeah.
actually.
So welfare check.
Damn. No. Wait, welfare checks, right? Is that what they're called?
I thought
welfare checks.
welfare checks is checking to see if somebody alive.
Yeah.
Real quick,
but
before we
these
go on to the
folks-
next one, I just want to give a quick shout out because Dozy, based off what you're saying, there's a book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow: Mass Incarceration in the Age
I
of
read that
Colorblindness.
too.
So, thank you.
All right,
So,
God, don't get too excited now.
shout out to the book for that information.
Yeah, and that book highlights a lot of elements of why single parenthood is instilled in specific ethnic communities, black communities, since the 70s or since the late 60s, once the civil rights movement got imploded by government intervention. Certain things were put in place to make sure that black people couldn't create businesses, couldn't create pools of finance from their communities, which they used to have, whether it was in the family, in the church, or within black institutions of communalism. That's why we have no more Black Wall Street, and that's why we no longer have black communities. We just have hoods. We don't have businesses. We don't have things, and we don't have families maintaining values because you don't have a father and a mother maintaining the home.
Exactly.
And also, since you don't have two incomes in the home, kids are less likely to have access to a lot of things that people outside the black community do. It's not necessarily because they're black or because they're uneducated, and it's not necessarily because fathers don't want to be in their lives. It is heavily because certain institutions were put in place to make sure that these two groups weren't together to make the family strong. That's what that book is about. So, highly recommend.
You talking about like school to prison pipeline stuff like that?
Yes, but it's worse because it goes beyond. It's new Jim Crow because before there was a prison system in the United States. The first prison system in the United States was created for African Americans who escaped slavery.
Literally,
we didn't
literally.
have a concept of that in the United States.
Literally,
Yeah.
right after slavery ended, a lot of people don't know, right after slavery ended, they wrote laws where it was illegal to just be outside. It's called being a vagrant, right?
Yeah.
And they will just literally put you in jail if you didn't have a job.
Yep.
So how if you in the South, how you gonna get a job when you just got free basically, and now you can't even provide for yourself, and then you get locked up. But go ahead, bro.
Final note, that is vagrancy laws. You should look up your state. Each state still has vagrancy laws. Very few states got rid of those vagrancy laws. And while we think that they're maintained because of high risk of homelessness or other instances where homelessness can affect the population, majority of the people who are homeless or incarcerated are black people. They are overrepresented in spite of being minorities in the community. And that's something you should consider when you see that the highest recidivism is among black people, black males, and that's the demographic we're talking about when we say, oh, the father isn't home. Why isn't the father home?
Exactly.
And why are black people still on the street while white people are rarely on the street at higher rates? Certain things you should consider. Read the book. There's a lot in there, from slavery to present. A lot of systems are still there.
What I would like to add is that on top of all of this, that racism, for the most part, especially when it comes from institutions or governments or any kind of place, any kind of business, whatever, people, it usually trickles down from a place of opportunity. Typically, it's you get this group that is already down, and then you convince everyone around them that this group deserves to be down. And it slowly trickles down from the government to the government's own businesses, to the businesses that are supported by the government-owned businesses, to the people who own the government-owned businesses, to the people who live in the family with the business owners, to the friends of the families, and then everyone.
Top down.
Yes.
I'm gonna go a step
Top down,
further.
yeah.
I was gonna say a lot of information being shared here. There's a lot new, a lot of things like that I learned when I was in college, and I'm glad y'all speaking on them. I'm curious to know what y'all think.
Yeah.
I did not know when to like.
I was just gonna say, yeah.
Stop. It was the unique challenges of single parenthood that contributed to mental health struggles, and then we got into how in the black community, it's pretty difficult because it's almost like it's projected for us not to have a father figure,
Yeah.
which makes it significantly harder for the mother, which then creates unequal opportunity when you compare us to like outside co-parenting households.
Yeah, so I would say like the major, like I know we talked about sex and all that, and it being a toll on the mother or the father who's the single parent, but also like that financial burden. I can't imagine how much it must feel to carry that as a single parent, and also to take in consideration the kids' like mental health. You don't know whether or not like maybe you might be making a decision. I don't know if this single parenthood, like there are many situations that might occur from single parenthood, like divorce and but yeah, it will take a toll on the kids regardless, because they might see like the photocopy image of like a white family, 2-parent household, and they don't have that in their family, so they might feel left out. Yeah.
I can definitely, like, personal story here. I can
Yeah.
attest to that because I grew up playing lacrosse. As you know, that's a majority white sport.
Yeah.
So like when it came to the tailgates and after like practice or after games, I noticed my mom would always like, it would be me and her, but I'd see so many parents with their kids giving support, siblings, all of that.
Yeah.
And I'd feel left out, understanding like, damn, like, Mom, it's just me and you. And then my mom would have to dip to work, and then I'd have to like leave real quick.
Yeah.
And so I'd have to like go with another family and feel like
Yeah.
I'm a part of them to like get that, you know, comfort. But no, thank you for that. So
problem.
any other comments for our question before I move on?
I said I want to go deeper, bro. So
It's not the first time you said that.
all right, listen, because I'm a like
Who has mic,
we
bro?
talking about
Really about to.
yeah, we talking about like how single mothers affects Black people right now, but I think it's the single motherhood mentality is affecting more than one person, right? More than one race, let me say. So and it trails back even like to the early 1900s, right? So before people, for example, before people were going out into the workforce, there was a lot of people raised their kids to become farmers or like to grow up in a family business, for example, right? And when they did that, a lot before schools were invented. And what happened was when you raised your kid, your mentality was instilled in that child, and that mentality was instilled there further on. But what happened was when Rockefeller came in and he wanted to create a let's say a society of workers, not thinkers, basically, right? Because he was rich. He was one of the richest people in the world at that time, right? And he said he himself even said that I want to create a society of workers, not thinkers, because if you can make everyone just do the work, be mindless drones, you don't have no competition, basically. And that's why he invested billions of dollars in the school. Billions at that time was an insane amount. So he literally was one of the people who set up the school system, and this was like it led to like, and this was enforced because obviously you can pay the lawmakers to make people take their kids to school. Like a lot of people don't even know. In California, if your kids don't go to school half of the school year, the parents going to jail. Like, and a lot of people don't know that, right? So it's like that made people whose kids would normally stay in the house and get that mentality, they were not workers, right? And now it's come to a fact where if that mentality isn't instilled, the company's society's mentality is instilled, and this is what all ties back into like how it stripped away what a family would instill in that child, right? And then second of all, we also got to talk about like how I'm gonna get to that. I'm gonna get to that later.
I'm going to build on top of that.
Wait. Before we build, because I do have questions to ask. I don't want to just all of us get stuck on one question.
It's usually how these podcasts go.
So,
You got a time crunch.
thank you. So, Avian, I noticed you've been a little quiet, and we talked at the gym. So this next, I'm gonna give you some information real quick for everybody. So did you guys know that the father's influence on a children's cognitive and behavioral functioning comes from cognitive development through activities that stimulate a child's thinking, problem solving, and language skills? So for instance, introducing your kid to sports, for instance. Did your father introduce you to football, or how did you find out about that?
No, I was outside. I was outside with my friends.
Did the father typically shows the social development for a kid? Did he introduce you to like being social, or do you think you came from that naturally?
No, I was natural.
Okay. So also to add on, for emotional regulation for fathers, they're more of the secure attachment style. Secure is meaning, close, trustworthy, having that strong bond. Fathers contribute to the development of secure attachment, which is foundational for emotional regulations. So if you don't have that secure attachment style as a man or as a child with your father, you tend to be a little bit unhinged and a bit all over the place, if not socially awkward. So moving on from that, a secure attachment with a father figure can enhance a child's ability to manage stress and navigate social relationships because he sees how his or her father acts with their mother. So now moving on from that, mother's influence on children's cognitive and behavioral functioning. The mother provides the nurturing environment. She's the one who's the good cop in the good bad cop role. She'll provide a nurturing environment that's crucial for a child's early development, caregiving, emotional support, and a sense of security, which is very essential for cognitive growth. We all agree? Awesome. And then the last thing is, like the father, emotional regulation, attachment and bonding. Mothers are primary caregivers and give the quality of the mother-child attachment, which is crucial because if you're not like attached to your mother in a way, you don't have a sensitive side, so to speak. Can we all agree with that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
So if you're not securely attached with your mother, it ends up hindering your ability to have a soft side, so to speak. You're not as nurturing or understanding because you didn't have a mother or was not secured with your mother.
I agree.
Thank you. Empathy.
I agree.
Thank you. All right, so now moving on, next question here. I want to get into support systems. So everyone be free here to answer. How crucial are support systems in mitigating mental health issues for single parents? So meaning, in other words, if you're a single parent, how important is it to have a support system to manage all that stress?
Oh, so
if you've seen it in parents or you heard it from other people.
I mean, it's essential. Like I said before, like you gotta lean on other people. Like, I mean, if you're working and your kid getting out of school and you need the money, most of the time you can't afford that daycare too. So it's like you gotta lean on, an auntie or a grandma to look after the child. So that's very critical.
Any other comments from anyone? Have you had experience with,
Well, I would say doing that, it's a solution, but it tends to have people instill very many different values on one child, and the child usually ends up growing up confused about how they should move through life.
I can agree.
So auntie says this, grandma says this, my dad tells me this, my mother tells me this, her brother tells me this.
There's no.
That's the point. You're like when you find out what you believe in, and you should be. That should be your greatest strength. That you have different people telling you different perspectives. I lived through this. I did this. My grandma seen this. My uncle seen this. My mom seen that. That's the biggest strength of all that.
So that's when your ego starts to develop. Like I said this, I was going to mention this, I'll say it now. Sigmund Freud, psychologist, he came up with the theory of psychosexual. So between the age of when you're born to about 3 to 4 years old, it's called the oral stage. And that's when you're breastfed by the mother. But once your mother weans off the breastfeeding, your ego starts to develop because you're not getting that gratification so much. And that's when you start to question things and start to have different inputs on what's right, what's wrong, or why don't I have, or I'm being breastfed anymore. And you really start to question things. So like you're saying, I could see how that comes from having all these different perspectives. Me personally, I came from the same similar household. Mom could not take care of me because she was working. So I live with my grandparents, and my grandpa's a politician, and my grandmother's an ordained minister. So here I get religious values and political beliefs back and forth with my mom coming home who's stressed, who's telling me, your dad ain't shit. I'm really just trying to figure out what's right for me in a sense, so to speak. So thank you, that helps. So how do you think single parenthood could affect future relationships for children? So let's say you guys are single parents. How do you think that could affect the relationship for your child with your partner?
Perpetuate the cycle. Like honestly, that's what you grew up seeing. You're gonna be like
Exactly, bro.
Because I think there's a point in time when you're a kid and you're like, when you're young and you realize like in your mind your parents can't do anything wrong. You just don't question it. Like I think we just grow up believing like that up for a while, and I feel like when you come from a single parent like household, that stage that you're in, I feel like it's extended a little bit more than it should be, because it's kind of like with me, I was raised by my mom mostly. So for me, like I will always be more attached to my mother because to this day, now that I'm getting older, I see, that she's definitely may have fucked up in certain things. Yeah. But for the longest time, I was like, yo, my mom is like, yo, perfect. Like that's it. But I guess because I had my dad to kind of like be like, hell nah, like you're bugging out. But
Yeah, that's interesting because I wouldn't say opposite, but I had a very different experience with that because I wasn't raised by either of them. So for me, it was more like the memories I had of my mother and what I was told what my mother was like and what I was told my father was like. So I had to basically build my own understanding of
What a mother and father are.
what my parents were. And at the same time, I had to understand who I was because of them.
Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah, let me chime in.
Yeah.
I'll get the ladies' perspectives.
So I wanted to say, like, if the child grows up with a single parent, it might also, like we were talking about this earlier, their attachment styles could be like unsecure or anxiously attached. So they might like get really, well, they really might not, what am I trying to say? They might not want to commit in a relationship, and that could like affect them actually like getting married if they so choose to, or having kids if they want to, and that could like, you know, just affect all of that.
All right, so that's actually a perfect segue then.
No, let me answer that.
All right, Dozy, last thing to say.
Last thing,
then we'll move on.
Because look at this. Because I thought somebody was going to speak on it. I think somebody was going to speak on it because look at this, right? If you grew up, all right, yeah. If you grew up in a single mother household, right, you never got to see how a successful relationship looks like. Right.
Facts.
So
I ain't never seen one.
so now you growing up on both sides. You don't see like a man coming in if they fighting how they reconcile. Right. You don't see how but you don't see how exactly.
Yeah, you don't see how guys diffuse arguments.
Exactly,
and things versus
situations
how
like
women
that.
diffuse arguments and things.
Exactly.
In some cases, it ends up causing, domestic abuse.
Yeah,
And
exactly. And then if you a guy seeing that your mother getting beat up all the time by random dudes, most likely, right? Because I'm talking about that domestic violence stuff, right? Yeah. So now a lot of men don't see how successful relationships are, but they see their mother like getting tossed around basically, and now they don't know how to move when in their own relationships, right? And females as well, they don't know how to interact with a man to be able to like get a successful husband and stuff like that. So a lot of times it also shapes how it affects their future relationships, right?
So you're talking about like the Oedipus and Electra complex.
Exactly, right.
So for people who don't know, if you guys don't know, the Oedipus complex is when the son favors having the mother and no father, versus the Electra where the daughter favors having the father and no mother. So
Explain that though.
Explain it further?
Before you had even explain it to y'all, did y'all know what the story of Oedipus was before you even had to explain it?
Explain that further so they understand, bro.
Don't know. You don't need to.
I know, that's why I just wanted to give the definition.
The complex is more in depth, right? Because not only does it go into having like preferring your mother or your father, it goes into what the quality, like in your own day in life, the qualities you seek for, right? Because a lot of people don't realize that sometimes they might look for certain traits they got in their father or their mother, right? Yeah. So if you grew up with like combative parents too. Like if your parents combative, you also don't know how a successful relationship looks like. But if you see like, oh, your dad is caring, he brings your mother flowers, and you see that as a girl looking at your father, and you see that, and your mother, she always got dinner for her husband. At the end of the day, basically, you say, okay, this is how people are supposed to be moved.
It shows you the parental roles of
exactly.
I can understand that.
Well, I would say it's a little bit. I understand that because it is common. Like a lot of people will talk about how a daughter will majority favor hanging out with their father, and a son will be with his mom. However, it's a little different for me because I only grew up with a single mom and a brother. So technically, I can't even favor a father figure because I don't have one currently in my life. So like my only male figure would probably be my oldest brother, and the way he would treat my mom would be very respectful. Like he would always look out for her, he would always look out for me too. So it's like it's a little different.
Would you say those are the qualities you look for in a man though, seeing like how your brother treats?
Yeah.
Okay.
Majority, yeah. Mostly, yeah. He's a sweet person.
WW brother.
It's great that you can say that.
Disagree with those.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody disagree with this concept?
Oh yeah,
Question,
I think
Steve.
that also like.
You disagrees with
No,
starting?
I'm just saying. I mean, but I don't think that everything. I don't think that when we talk about like topics like this, it's not a math equation. It don't always mean 1 + 1 = 3. It's a gray area. I think a lot of this stuff can either make or break you. You can see a bad relationship and it turn you into a very good person in a relationship. You feel secure. Everything not 1 + 2 = 3. Like, feel me?
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
I was also going to input how like kind of going off what you're saying there, is that your environment can also help you develop mentally in what's a good relationship. So if everything's not great at home, in the school environment, you might have a teacher who you look up to, or a friend or a figure. So like through life, there are teachers other than the parental figures showing you what a proper relationship looks like, or, the proper etiquette to follow. I was about to move on to that. I got you.
I'll add one last thing onto this, and then y'all can kill it. Beyond just sexual and family relationships, how does not having a father necessarily, or not having the mother in the home, affect relationships outside of sex, marriage, stuff like that?
Like platonic?
Yeah. There's more than just that. You could have deficiencies in your work relationships. You can have deficiencies.
Yeah, that's why we got like Andrew Tates that exist.
No, but but if that's a thing, how do y'all see that in the world?
I mean, personally, like growing up, single mom and everything, I learned to obviously respect my mother, but it was at the point where she was so much of a tyrant, I viewed, because she was control everything. If I didn't do anything she wanted, I'd be punished immediately. That's how I viewed all women for a while. So I used to think all right, if I don't do it this older female authoritative figure wants me to do, I'm going to get the strictest punishment. So I was pretty much making sure whatever she said was go, I'm on it. Then I realized, I'm older, I have a bit of a mind. Not everyone knows what's right for me. I only know what's right for me. So for you to kind of guide me in this direction, it's ill-mannered of you without even trying to get to understand me. So does anyone else have their own personal stories here? Anyone who hasn't spoken? Hey, you've been kind of quiet, yeah.
I'm just listening, man.
I appreciate it.
Everybody's point of view.
But what do you feel about this? There's a lot here. I don't know. Put the mic on, man.
I mean,
Let this man cook.
The whole situation, I was thinking the same thing. That's why I was looking like that, because it could go either way. You can either see, the type of household you in, or, the situation that your mom could be in with male, partners or whatever, and you can turn out like that, or, you can be the total opposite of that, as far as, saying your father being a drunk and now you don't never want to drink in your life, you know what I'm saying? So it's a lot that could go into. I could see both sides.
I guess this is a good segue. Hey, I can't even talk. This is a good segue for the topic I feel like everyone's been waiting to talk about now. Let's get into dating, because we're talking about relationships and forming those bonds. So before you even have a relationship, you have to, date, get to know someone, move through that whole process. So the first question here is, how does the dating experience influence individual self-esteem and self-worth? Let's get into that.
So it's been a while since I dated. My last relationship was in high school, so that was about 2 years ago.
You ain't missing out on much.
I know. I downloaded the apps and stuff, but then they didn't work, or I guess they were just a dopamine boost, and I never really went on any dates because I thought someone would murder me. So no, because you don't know what creeps are out there. So I would say the dating scene hasn't been really fortunate with me, and also I've just that's what I would say on that.
Thoughts? I know.
Yeah, we're going across the
Can you read the question?
Can we touch on the fact that she said you don't want people to murder you?
Yeah.
I wanted
That's why I tell everybody, get a gun.
So
The ultimate equalizer.
Dating that dudes do not have to worry about.
Yeah.
Rarely. I'm not saying never, because depending on what lifestyle you live in.
Yeah.
I wanted to hear both answers first before we fall back. We're gonna fall back to that. I just wanted to hear.
Okay, yeah, we can circle back.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's very true. That's why everybody carries tasers, pepper sprays. Girls are now getting their gun license and everything. This is a scary world.
Yeah.
Are there any other thoughts you have before we go back to how dating can influence your self-esteem and self-worth?
Okay.
I just feel like you just have to just be out there. It's for when you're dating. But I feel like a lot of people, if they feel like they're getting rejected a lot, they may that may lower their self-esteem. I mean, I don't care. I just live life.
Now, I was going to ask, this is like a personal question here. So for women, like, is getting rejected as common as it for men? Like, how do you handle rejection?
I wouldn't say it's as common, but girls do get rejected. I take it like a champ. Because
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Like, what can you really do? Like, there's gonna be somebody else that's gonna want you. So, like, that one person that doesn't want you is like somebody else is gonna be out there that's gonna love you.
Way more bold than me.
Oh, I be shooting my shot. Yeah. I don't care.
I like that. Well, how does the dating experience influence individuals' self-esteem and self-worth? I was going to fall back to how women feel, the chance of getting murdered.
Yeah.
Where did this, where does this stem from?
I'm so sorry. I think I totally...
Like, I get it, but, there's also, the internet, which can also kind of, add anxiety to your... So if you see something on Netflix like You or 13 Reasons Why, you're going to think twice. So I just want to know what's the core experience from where you think that.
Well... Okay, I think I completely missed the mark on the question about self-esteem and started talking about murder.
You're good.
But I just wanted to say, it's just... we just have this perception of nothing is ever really the way it seems, or at least to me, I feel like I have to protect myself in terms of against weapons, against attempted assault and stuff like that, because I guess being a woman is you view the world in a different way. And I'm not saying anything about hating men or anything like that, but it's just you never know someone's intentions until you get there. So that's
better to be safe than sorry, so to speak.
I want to speak on that a little bit, because I also used to find this so irritating and so unfair. I used to love walking around at night any time at night and feeling fine, but my mother would always be worried. And I never thought about it, because I'm why do I have to be worried? But somebody else could just a man could just walk around and be fine.
Nah, we not fine.
I mean, well, other than police
No. Let me.
You're more of a target. You're more of a target than a man would be.
That's not true. Statistically, Statistically, more men experience violence than women, right? So off rip, it's the statistics. So most likely, a man is should be more scared than a woman, because he could end up getting killed out in the streets than a woman would, right? So
I was gonna ask, where do you get that data from?
Thank you.
You get that from Statica.
Statica?
Yeah, Statistica.
Send it to me after.
I got you. I'm gonna get everybody. I'm gonna bring. I got sources.
What's the name was saying when you remember you said when you was talking about the boost in 100. That might be true, but how it's coming out, I don't think how they're viewing it.
No. But I'm saying. But you said, or one of y'all said that women were more likely to get hurt. I said that's not true, because the statistics say otherwise, right? So if men are getting murked more, if they should be more scared than the women, but we're not, right? But I'm saying that
they should,
but they're not.
You're going based off of just no.
But we gotta go off facts.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
You can't go off facts, bro. That doesn't be going off emotion.
Second. Hold on.
Because
One at a time. Stop. One at a time. One at a time.
Okay, go.
Earlier, before the podcast started, we were talking about an issue specifically in Baltimore, but around the United States. We even have a person you're from ATL.
I'm not from Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
He's from here.
But he lived in ATL.
In black communities, an issue that goes underreported is homicide, but more than that is human trafficking. And human trafficking of black women, youth black women. It's not saying that the number...
You on your phone, you're not even listening.
I'm listening.
I'm not saying...
You trying to look at the facts.
Hold on. Let him keep talking.
No, but this is for the viewer. An issue is human trafficking. Human trafficking is a nationwide issue. It's actually one of the number one problems in the United States, but it's underreported for multiple reasons. So if you're saying that a woman shouldn't be afraid or as afraid of a man going around at night, it's a flawed argument. It's a flawed argument for a lot of ways.
No, I didn't say they shouldn't be afraid.
No.
Somebody said something, and I just brought the source.
It's fine. I'm not coming at all I'm saying is, for a woman to go out nowadays, there is a higher risk of them facing danger more than a male, and it's not just physical violence or death. It's death, it's sexual violence, it's exploitation. There's a lot of people in industries that somebody referenced porn, but like think about the porn industry. Think about the people who are this is wild, and but that 18 plus isn't always 18 plus on porn. And all those people in the videos, they might look like they're having a good time. They don't want to be there. Yeah. So it's underreported if you're saying that a woman is safe in the United States. She should be. It's the safest country. We have the most money. We have the most defense. We pay the most for police. Right. We ain't safe.
Yeah, we're not the
The United States definitely is not safe right now, especially at night.
To interject real quick.
It's corn. It's corn.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, you gotta say corn.
Yeah, you gotta say it's corn.
We have to censor that.
Yeah,
Corn.
yeah. It's
All good.
Corn.
It's all good.
That's
So
how it works. Yeah.
help support here on both ends.
I know what if I got what you're saying, and I think they understand.
Yeah, we got it.
But it's for the viewer.
Okay.
It's really a problem. It's a problem that
But
people.
to add on both ends here, in the notes that I have passed around and showed you, I have a bit of statistical data. It's not saying it's completely accurate. It's from Tinder, just to help support the argument, is that women are more overwhelmed than men from the amount of engagement they receive on online dating apps. I'm not saying that applies to the real world life, but I'm saying that women are more pursued than men, so to speak. So it's like you guys are, if you can imagine the targeting you get online, imagine how that could be in person. If you're overwhelmed just from online, from the safety of your phone, imagine how that could be when you go out. All these people who have phones, in a way, that's like, they could have eyes on you. All right?
Let her cook.
It's right there. She's
about to go on.
So yes,
if anyone wants to see it.
speaking about that, so I used to work at a gym, and that's what also used to get on my nerves about the catcalling, and like from all ranges of ages used to bother me. I'm like, and mind you, this is during COVID, so like I just want to work and chill. So I'm like, I would hear like, oh, you're fine as hell, da 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 da, like you're cute, but I'm like, you can only see my eyeballs. So what are you really seeing? Because I'm wearing a mask and I have a hat on and I'm blind. I got glasses. So like, what are you really seeing? So like that used to also get on my nerves too, because I'm like, I'm in a work area. I get it. It's a gym. So like, I'm gonna experience that. But can we be professional, please?
And also, like, we shouldn't expect to experience that.
Yeah, like we shouldn't expect to experience that, but it's a gym, so I'm kind of used to it. But back to what I was saying about walking outside, I was just basically saying based on my point of view, because I'm used to my mom telling my brother, just be safe. And then when it comes to me, I'm used to being like, oh, I don't want you outside. You have to walk with somebody. It's always something. And it's like, why can't I just get up, be safe?
Yeah.
So yeah.
A lot of the stories that I'm hearing y'all say, like, I'm so glad I went to like Morehouse, because Spelman women, they're very vocal about the things y'all talking about. That's why I was like, when he was talking, I was like, already, like, so many things happen that's unreported, and just like so many statistical flaws. When people be like, this is the empirical evidence, and this is the, well, look at what they talking about, and actually talk about what's not being reported. I mean, there's some stuff that's like, and then the repression of Black women speaking out.
Yep, bro. That's major.
Come on, bro. Cassie was just like, yo, he settled under like 24 hours.
Bro.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Now.
All right, so to add on now, some leading troubles with dating in today's America here. Obviously, there's online dating challenges. There's communication issues. There's hookup culture, high expectations of perfectionism, the pressure to define relationships quickly. So meaning like you're not getting enough time to even get to know the person. You just have a title like automatically. What do you guys think are some, because like you said, Josiah, the data might show, but there's things that are going under the radar. What do you all think are some leading troubles with today's dating in America?
I think one of the leading issues is that when you're saying the title, the show, just for show, most people do it for show.
You're talking about the pressure to define the relationship quickly?
So I'm not going to say this person or that person, just that people in general are more interested in showing off, oh, I have this this handsome guy, or I have this beautiful woman, all in my DMs trying to, oh, he has a nice Bentley, she has a nice ass, that
has been like projected out a lot more.
Big issues and what causes people to just want to rush into relationships. It's all materialistic rather than based off of, if I focus on what I have to do, will this actually benefit others? Or will this benefit a family that I might want to have?
Being genuine and focusing on purpose. Yeah. I can get that. Because in the way you're putting it seems like everyone's just trying to compete for flexing at this point. Showing off what they have rather than focus on what's important.
I was going to add on, like, even to what you're saying, this is my experience in Atlanta. Everything is about flex on people and in social media. I feel like social media is such a detriment to like people's relationships because and also the accessibility to cheat, I think is a problem too. Like back people be like, oh, I want that 90s love, that 80s love. To be honest with you, be quite frank, I feel like they'd be in the same thing if they had iPhones, they had Ubers, they had DMs.
Oh, of course.
Like people have more of an opportunity. It's more open for people to cheat. It's social media. People are looking at things like people are idolizing people's celebrities' relationships, don't know shit about them.
Just what they see in the media.
There was a TikToker that was funny. He touched on this. He was like just because a dude's like paying a girl, like giving her like roses bouquet and stuff like that, like doesn't mean like he's treating her. It doesn't mean like it's a good relationship.
Correct.
And like everything on social media is like really an illusion.
Yeah.
I'll keep it a buck. This is personal experience as well. I'm not gonna say his name, but my old roommate who I used to stay with, he's like a TikToker. Him and his girl, they used to get into fake arguments, just for the sake of getting views, and they would get a lot, like 500K views, and I'd be like, damn. So like, for instance, I sent it to Kyle. You sent it to me. You said it was funny.
It was funny.
And I was like,
it was funny.
I was literally there for that when they made it. And I'm like, yo, this is all fake.
Yeah, you got so mad at me.
I was mad because like,
though.
why would you fall for that? But then I'm thinking again, it's like it's online, so you can see what happened behind. Yeah, it gets you.
We can't lie. It was pretty funny.
It was funny, but like me being there when they made it was like cringe. So the fact,
Nah, you know what that does too?
That themselves cheating though. Like I don't understand that.
No, because it gets views, but plus a lot of people don't realize that it transfers the trauma, right? So now like you seeing that beginning exactly, and you see that you going through that. Now you mad for no reason, like it happened to you. Yeah. So now you mad like you was in an argument, and from that and you now apply that mentality like moving forward too. So now you take a stance on something you wasn't even a part of. So people are transferring their trauma.
I see that
in relationships.
Yeah.
So do you guys agree?
It's true though.
I would just say like those fake arguments, I feel like they would kind of make the relationship falter, even though they're fake. Like I don't see it being like funny in any sense. I guess the views aren't funny, but like I don't know why they would pretend to like have a argument, and then like what happens when they actually do have an argument? Like is it the same way it plays out in that argument, or is it?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Not like that. It's that baby mama joint where the cuz only got his kid food. Y'all seen that one, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where he only got his kid food and the other kid was crying. Yeah, and she threw the whole food away. Yeah. So now people on both sides be like, he should have gotten his other kid's food. And I'll be like, why you gotta get them food? They're not his kids. So now it's also that, so now when you might be in that situation, boom, you're not gonna get your kid's food because you verified and you align more with not getting that kid food.
Because that internet has influenced you to think that way. Yeah, so like don't even get involved. Why are you getting involved with other people's business and then putting that in your own life? It's
people are bored with their own lives and have nothing. Like,
That's true.
I can agree to that.
There's this girl on TikTok that she always says if your girl does this, then then she's definitely cheating. I've noticed a lot of people freak out. That happened. Listen, the relationship I was, I just start questioning some things. I was like, I gotta stop watching this. And her videos were so addicting. I was like, damn, I definitely self-sabotaged the relationship, but whatever. It was running its course. So it was like, rest in peace quicker to the relationship.
I'm sorry that I'm talking a lot. It's just like I'm on social media, and then I'll be seeing this stuff so much and it's so prevalent. But on top of what you were saying, like people be like, we got these fake dating coaches out here. Listen,
not for real.
TikTok, they think, but the thing is, that's what sells though. Yeah. That's what sells. People be like, if your man is not doing this, and we're only speaking for like heterosexual relationships because that's what we're not even speaking for LGBTQA+.
people be like, if your man is not doing this and this, if your woman is not, I saw a dude said it. If your room is dirty and a girl you just met and she don't come in and clean your whole room, bro, she's not.
That was crazy.
And then the worst part about it is that you have people in the comments being like, bro, facts. Like a bunch of degenerates.
See, that's way too extreme. I'm not gonna lie, that's way too extreme.
Like,
That actually helps answer one of my questions. I was gonna talk about the impact of technology, but it seems like we all have a good general understanding of it. But now I want this for men and women. Please feel free to comment back and forth. The fear of vulnerability. So as you notice, men aren't as vulnerable with women in dating. And personally, I think that's because I think women can use it as an advantage to like put me down, because it's happened to me, so like trauma, so to speak. So it's why I try not to be as open until I can fully trust her. But for women, how do you guys feel about being vulnerable or taking a man's vulnerability?
That sounds like taking his virginity.
Sorry. A man. That's being. Let me rephrase that. A man being vulnerable with you.
Okay. I mean, I don't know why. It should be normal for men to be vulnerable, but I understand, like, it's a societal thing. They need to be, like, mucho and, like, you know? And, yeah, exactly.
Well, how do you guys feel about it?
How I feel? Well, I would want my partner or whoever I'm dating to be vulnerable with me. But I realized in past relationships, they haven't been vulnerable. Like, my ex-boyfriend was really, like, emotionally unavailable. And it would suck because it's, like, we liked each other and we, like, both came to the agreement. But we just weren't seeing eye to eye in terms of, like, emotional stuff. Like, there was one time, like, I was crying about something on a call, and I called him, and he just was not even paying attention to me. He was just, like, coding his thing, and I was like, man, like, why can't you, like, put the computer down and, like, talk? I think it was like, being scared of being vulnerable what really affected him.
I just feel like it takes y'all a while to be vulnerable, but because I also have a brother, so, like, I've experienced, like, slightly outside of the story. So pretty much it's like you guys would like to be vulnerable, but you guys aren't, because let's say we get into an argument, I could use that against y'all. And now y'all like, dang, like I should have never said this or da 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 da. Right. And it's like, I also feel like we as females aren't as vulnerable as we should be sometimes in certain relationships, because some of us feel like we should be more independent. So it's kind of hard for us now to lean on y'all, and y'all supposed to be there for us to lean on, but we are like, we got everything and da da da. So yeah.
Well, quick question for y'all though: have any of y'all had an emotionally intelligent man?
I've never had a boyfriend.
Okay,
I respect that.
And nope.
No. I would, I don't know, because y'all saying that, like, y'all prefer one, right?
Yeah.
But how do you know you would act or react in a way that makes him feel comfortable, for example?
What do you mean?
Good question. That is a good question.
Because that goes back to being in something you've never, like, experienced, right?
Exactly.
Because now, you a lot of people, if they vent how they feel about you, some people take that as an offense.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, so you coming at me, I'm gonna end you. You know what I mean? So it's like how do you know that it's true?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Let him cook.
Technically, I did actually have. So I have a boy best friend. So, like, he's very an emotional person. So, like, so I understand, like, certain. Like, he likes to talk about a lot of things, so, like, I can see his point of view, but it's a little bit harder if I were to be romantically with somebody. I don't think it's going to be different, so, like, I still wouldn't know what to do then, because I've never experienced it, and I feel like this is going to be a little hard for me.
Yeah, and I can relate to having a boy best friend that's emotionally intelligent and wanting that in a relationship.
But yeah, like, never experienced on a romantic level.
Yeah.
I would like to add something to that. I would say another layer to that would be that men and women both experience emotions differently. So what might be really sad for a guy is very different, would be very sad for a girl. And so, like, for some guys, they don't even know what it's like to actually feel what most women would say is really, like, true sadness or true happiness or true anything, where they just exist and the only goal is to continue existing.
And a lot of men are brought up to be problem solvers, right? And there's that discussion about how come whenever I vent to my boyfriend, for example, he's just giving me solutions. A lot of girls like, I just want to be heard, right? They don't want no solution. But it's like the man's mentality is like problem. Okay, how am I going to fix that? How am I going to solution? Exactly. And in his head, that's why also love languages matter, because in his head he like, oh, she feeling this way. I got to make sure she don't feel that way. And then he put even solutions thinking that he's helping you, but you don't even want the solutions. You just want to be heard.
That feeling's acknowledged.
Exactly.
So when you have a girlfriend, that's when you have to ask her, like, if she's venting to you and wants to talk to you, you have to ask her, like, oh, is this like you want a problem solving solution, or do you just want to talk and listen?
Yeah, and I started
like
doing
make
that
it
with
clear,
my friends.
make it clear before she even not to be rude,
But I just feel like people.
But then now it feels like it's not genuine. Like, oh, what do you want from me? You want me to listen, or you just want you want actual solutions?
Well, you also
I mean, that's like they say
we are mind readers.
we're not as emotionally intelligent as people like or women may think we are. We need to understand it from like a general concept before we can just be like, oh, I know what she wants. Like, this is her.
And what
I need to listen voice.
Know what she wants.
And plus, men are also brought up to be relied upon. So, for example, if you come to a man with like an issue and you crying, in his head, he like, oh, okay, I just got to be like someone that she can lean on, basically, right? So if you like, for example, you got laid off, you come to your man like, I don't know how we gonna pay the bill, this and that third. He's like, okay, I got you, I got us. But he has to be that tower. You can't go to a man like, baby, I just got fired. You're like, oh my God, we just got fired. Let's go make it worse. Let's go get you crying, he crying, and now y'all just take the whole world by hand.
Man, you was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you were looking at that like,
you cry.
Exactly. You cry, nigga.
Now she's coming.
Now we on a group FaceTime with her best friend, and we all crying.
So you got to actually like because we brought up to be that tower, and you can't just melt down when it starts to happen. So that's also part of the vulnerability. Going back to it.
Done in a week.
I don't think it's about being vulnerable. I think it's more about being understanding and trying to not open up, but more
supportive.
Yes, to be aware of how you can affect others by what you say and what you do, rather than opening up. Because for a man to open up,
it's hard. It's hard for us to open up for shit.
Men don't open up as much because it's harder for us to build ourselves together. I don't mean to compare men and women, but I feel like that's the reason men won't do it. Because like, if a girl breaks up with us, we're like in shambles for a minute, like, because we don't have our guy friends to support us like women do. Like, if a dude breaks up with a girl, she'll go to her girlfriends. Yeah, I was going to say gals.
the girlies.
The girlies. And they'll be like a good support system. Be like, yeah, we hate this dude together. Like, guys, it's not like that.
Group crying session.
Guys will be like, yo, rub that shit off. Let's stop being a bitch.
Nah, you
lost your girl. She was that's low key the part of like.
I'm starting to see a different experience.
Yeah, because we're pretty brutal when it comes down to like when our friends, when their girlfriends leave. We'll just be like, you really crying over a girl, bro? She's clapping someone else. She's getting clapped by someone else. Yo, bro. And I'm telling you, all my friends, when I used to play sports, bro, I've done that like a lot, and it's just they're fine. I mean,
There are people in that.
Wait, I have a question. So I've seen like my brother go through breakups, and he's like in a dark room, like he does not want to be disturbed. Is that how you guys are?
No. That motherfucker's moping.
I'll say from my last
for gym and sports.
I don't really.
He started hitting the gym.
Okay,
I feel like my last relationship, I was definitely like, I was definitely in that space.
Down
like,
in the trenches.
Yeah, like, because the thing about me personally is like, I'm an acquired taste. I'm not for everybody, but when I do, I gel with somebody very deep. So like when the Velcro is ripped off, it hurts very like in my soul. It hurts my soul, like no cap. Like it feels like you like lost like almost like an organ or a limb. It feels like you really lost, like, especially when you're dealing with somebody that intimately. It's really deep. Like,
Yeah.
How about you?
God damn, man.
Let's talk.
Nah, I don't even get relationships because to me, it's no point. I've seen what everybody else was saying about, women using men's insecurities to use that against him, especially in an argument. I've had it done to me before. But after that, my last relationship was in high school. But other than that, like, you know, certain shit like that, I don't even get in relationships no more because it's not a win. It's no win.
I feel like sometimes we look at things like if it's, and I had to understand this. I don't even, right now, I told y'all before we started, like, I'm kind of focused on my career, but I did used to casually date often because I knew that I needed experience to get to where I'm at. So when I meet that person who I'm going to be long term, like, I need to.
You filtered it out.
Yeah, I need to, you don't have to, not saying that you're looking at it that type of way, like, but I need to have experience. I need to have things, and I need to learn, and I need to grow from things, because how I am in a relationship at 23 now is so much different from how I acted when I was like 19.
So
17.
So where would you meet these people? Were you online dating or were you?
I got like really the DMs for
The DMs?
the DMs for and the TikTok.
I can never slide in someone's DM.
Why?
Sorry.
Why not?
Wait,
Why
what you
not?
mean?
Because you already handicapping yourself by saying you can't do it.
Sorry, when I say I can't, I'm saying it's not for me.
Right in the gut.
No. I see what he's saying, but when you say that, I'm saying it's not for me.
How many times have you done it though?
Multiple times. I've done it like 10
How
at
many
least.
times? 10? That's it.
So what made you like?
I'm
Light work, bro. Light work.
What made you realize it wasn't for you? Like, were you getting rejected or like?
It was just like I couldn't understand the vibe I was getting from the person. It was rejection, but at the same time it was acceptance. So like when I see a message like, "Hey, what's up? How you doing?" and then they give me like their life spiel or whatever, I'm like, "All right, this is cool," but like
What does that
I can't read body language.
Did you potentially ever make it out of the DM? That's the question.
Yes,
Okay.
I've been on about 3 dates outside of the DMs, and they've all went fairly well. But it's not the same as like meeting someone at school or running into someone like the grocery
organic.
store or something organically.
Natural.
So it feels, maybe it's because I'm
Go for
older.
the feels.
So that's just how it is for me.
All natural.
I had, when I got out the relationship ended like earlier this year, but that's when I moved back. So like when I moved back
From the
here
band to Maryland.
yeah, that's when we kind of like broke up, and I had downloaded Hinge, right?
Right, Hinge is deadly, bro. No,
So, like-
I was like the king of Hinge for a minute.
Bro, and then
You're the king of
Trash,
this
bro.
campus too, bro.
Chill out. Chill out. Now you stop airing my business.
I had recently just deleted it because it's like I feel like Hinge and dating apps really can like help you like find somebody potentially for real. If you know what you're looking for,
Then
you
you'll
really
find
like
it.
because apps are made to experience like what you're looking for. Like they make it possible, and I just deleted it recently though. But I really feel like if you looking for somebody, you know, I'm going on a little date.
No, plus there's the instance of like misleading profiles. So like when I was on Hinge or Tinder, like I would see like all these women and I'm like, oh, you're so attractive. And when I went on these dates, I'm not trying to, downplay, but like
They were catfish.
yes, and I'd be like, bro, like why do you so I asked him like, why do you put this front on your profile if you're a person? Not to like be rude or anything, because you're a dope ass individual. But like, why? And it's
what
like,
did
'cause
they
men
say?
like visual value. But I'm like, all right, that's cool, visual. But then like, what about your personality? Like, what about like, how can you project that? Because you're funny as shit, but your bio just says follow me on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's like 90% of them.
Right, so like all value, I'm like, I guess I'm fortunate enough to match, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, I cannot start a conversation with this just like,
I need more information.
thank you.
It's like a
That's
test,
why I like
but
Hinge.
you're only-
Hinge worked for me, but I could really like,
But you could shoot. One thing I did like always since I was young, like I've always been like naturally attractive, and like it always gave me like a little self-esteem boost. And I understand like even though I'm attractive and like women pursue me and I pursue women, I be talking about. I be missing shots like a motherfucker. Because you know what? It only take one time, twin. It only take one time.
Only got hit once.
It only take one time.
you keep shooting, someone's gonna fall.
Yeah, something's gonna fall. You know my favorite athlete all time, Kobe Bryant. So
Yeah, he shot Kobe shots at him. Rest in peace. All right, so I just want to take a quick pause, give a round of applause to our, first sponsor, Josiah Reverse Bends. Please go check out his website, reversedying.com.
reversedying.com.
There you go. He sells awesome streetwear, especially for like the childhood. If you have any nostalgia, my favorite piece of his was his Bill Nye hoodie. Sold out, so I never got a chance to get it, but like it's sick. Go check him out. All right, and moving on to our next question from dating experiences. Ooh, body image in dating. So to what extent?
Guys, buckle up.
Right,
buckle up, guys.
To what extent does body image? To what extent does body image impact individuals' confidence and comfort in the dating process?
Oh shit! I feel like it impacts it a lot because definitely social media we're seeing like thick girls, nice bodies, the whatever figure,
Hourglass.
Yeah, hourglass figure, big butt, slim, yeah, BBL, yes, Cali, whatever. So like, and then, but it's so funny though because it's like mixed emotions. So like females will see like this and then be like, oh, I need to body enhance like my body to get like more likes, more attention and everything like that. But I feel like it just depends on the person, because now people are gonna be like, oh, I want to change my body so I can get more people, stuff like that. Right. So a lot of people are like, oh, I need a fat butt to get people like to like me or whatever, or like bigger chest, slimmer waist. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, so that's like difficult for females because some females could be big bodied or some could be small.
Everyone has their own.
Everyone has their own things.
Right.
But based off what I experienced, it's like I'd be surprised. Like I feel like if you have a pretty face and you're like slim, like you're like you don't even got a chest or like a ass or whatever. So like it's surprising. Like I feel like those females actually get all the rich niggas, and then the thick girls we just be getting like we be getting hood people and stuff like that, street people. What, everybody? But yeah, I feel like social media definitely does play a part because then some people feel like now they're insecure about how their body and stuff like that.
It's not the same attraction.
It's not the same attraction.
In high school, I always noticed this, and I tried to tell my friends this, that people like specifically Kim Kardashian and Nicki Minaj started that trend. Because like for instance, when Nicki Minaj came out with Anaconda, internet went crazy. Everyone was like, damn, like this is like shit. But then you look in reality, it's like, yo, that's not common.
It's
so
not
like,
attainable.
Right. Work with like.
But is it real though?
It's obviously
real.
not. It looks like a chicken leg.
But people forget what's real and what's fake.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the internet's influence over.
It be merging.
I have an appreciation for everything, to be honest.
I don't have it. If it's fake, I can't appreciate it.
That's you. So trust and believe. My mom told me somebody out there. There is somebody out there that will appreciate you, no matter how.
Yes, sir.
And this goes on both ends.
Yes, sir. I agree.
And
I agree.
It's a numbers game.
And no. Like people gotta realize it's the pendulum swinging because back in like early 2000, everybody wanted to be skinny, right? It was until like let's say J-Lo, one of them, was it Shakira came out.
Yeah,
was moving
hips
the hips. Exactly. They came out. They said, "Oh snap!" The women with the wide hips and the big booties, they looking good too. And now it's gone even further where they pumping silicone now. You know what I mean? So like whenever I talk to people about this, it's like where do y'all think that is like being perpetuated most? Because what I always hear from like some of my girlfriends, they're like, oh, it's because of what men want, basically, right? And I just want to know what's your opinion on that?
So my opinion is basically most females now, we just feel like if you have a big ass, anybody's gonna hit it. To be honest, you can have an ugly face, ugly personality, y'all just gonna hit it.
Butterface.
A lot of dudes don't lack self-control. They don't. When you're more bougie with your body and who you allow, what type of women you allow have access to your body, I promise you the whole game will just shift.
Yeah, exactly.
So then that's what I want to go into is like, I feel like women who do get those enhancements, it's always shifted towards the youth from lack of self-control. When you're younger, your hormones are fluctuating. You're impulsive. You're all impulsive and all over the place. So for instance, like when you take NBA players nowadays, when you see most of their girls or like partners, they typically have those type of enhancements. I'm not going to call out specific ones. You've seen it in the media. It's very common. So like you said, self-control is key. So when we get older, we're not as susceptible. And back to Dozy saying what's it targeting towards, I'd say like it's more common in the entertainment industry specifically. Because you don't see like lawyers or doctors getting like stuff. It's always some like influencer or celebrity.
And then they going on a plane. They can't even sit down on the plane.
I like
No, so I was just saying is,
Hey, let Cuz cook. Let's cook.
I was just saying that it's gotten to a point where it's not even about how guys will perceive you. From what I've seen, is that they want to look like Megan Thee Stallion. They want to look like Cardi B. They want to look like Nicki Minaj. And from what I've heard and from my personal experience, that a lot of guys would prefer just any woman to be nice to.
Niggas will fuck anything.
Yo, I'm
talking about the average guy.
Yeah.
The average guy.
Break down the average guy for those who
Average guy who doesn't get that, a whole lot of
bitches?
attention.
Oh.
He goes to work.
It's like
Hey, one in three. Hey, nah. Bro, 1 in 3 men hasn't had sex in 5 years, bro.
Exactly.
1 in 3 men. That's 33% of niggas.
Average guy, the guy who goes to work, who might go hang out with his boys on the weekends and just eats, sleeps, and shits, and then goes back to work.
I feel I have a lot of friends that like on that same type time, and like I feel like a lot of dudes like that fall under the category don't know how to like talk to girls, like and maybe even in a respectful manner. Like they don't.
I can't
know
do
how,
it in the DM.
Like,
sorry.
like some like I'm not gonna say one of his name, but like some of my friends he be showing me like, bro, I'm on Hinge. He's like, what do I say? My brother also, my older brother, he asked me, what do I say to this one girl? And then like yeah, so like I'll be looking at, I'll be like, bro, you don't say that to a girl.
Nah, nigga.
And I'm not trying to victimize like it's all their fault, but like you need to go out there and experience. You feel me? Like you need to, and you also need to know what to say to women, or like because you need like you may be blocking your own blessings.
I think that's where it's really coming down to.
You just gotta get comfortable with rejection. That's what it sounds like.
It is.
I mean, because most of the time you're gonna miss your shot. And it's like whatever.
That's why you see them like there's this one guy on Twitch who does like what's his name, Taekwondo. So what he does is he does like Zoom calls. So he tells you what to say while you with the girl like on the FaceTime. Yeah, he's like a coach basically, right?
So like Patrick SpongeBob.
Yeah, it's like coaches are So it was this one joint where this guy, he was talking to this girl, but she wasn't texting him back, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, all right, hop on a call with me. I'm gonna hop on a Skype with me, and then while she on the phone, I'm gonna tell you what to say to her, right? And Cuz gives him word for word what to say, and I mean, it ends up being that the girl starts fucking with him more because of what Cuz told him to say, right? So now a lot of people are resorting to that because they don't even know how to approach in the first place. So and even if they do approach, they don't know how to retain. Yeah. So it's more about it leads to like what you're saying, like insecurity, not being able to even accept that rejection in the first place.
Well, there's pressure on top of that, so to speak. What do you want to say?
I was gonna say there was one thing I want to touch that. The Hinge experiment head coach or the analyst, she wrote a book, and I watched her podcast. It was really good, and she said like, if you may be going through things like this, but watching porn isn't going to make it any better.
It makes it worse. Actually.
It makes it worse. You're gonna internalize feelings of misogyny and like not knowing how to treat women, how to talk to women, how to see a woman for what she is beyond the appearance. And then I was also with the language that you were saying. The book Art of Seduction, Robert Greene says men are susceptible to visual and women are susceptible to
verbal.
Words,
language.
Like one of the archetypes of seduction is called the rake, and it's basically the rake. It's a dude that has so much love for women that he's basically a man whore. So, but he knows what it's like to like talk to. He knows what pulls women in. He knows what to say, and surprisingly, a lot of rakes they're not the most attractive. I feel like it doesn't matter what you look like. If you know how to talk to women, you can really pull anything. Yeah, the rake is a lot of women succumb to. It's like one of the most common archetypes. And it's like, and it has like a lot of things I'm not gonna get into because it's real deep. Yeah. Like if you know what to say, it doesn't matter what you look like physically and all that. If you know what to say and you know how to treat somebody with respect, you're gonna get somebody in this world.
Yeah, and
on a deeper level, I just want to comment before I forget this thought. Even on a deeper level, from watching porn and everything, you're actually conditioning yourself. So whenever you feel that emotion of rejection, or you feel like you're not like pursuing a woman or in that state, and you're going to go, masturbate. You're conditioning yourself to be your automatic response whenever you feel that certain type of emotion, type of way. So whenever you feel like rejection or guilt or whatever, go masturbate, feel better. And that's going to become normalized and harder for you to break as you get older.
Yeah.
So like for viewers at home, if you're watching and like you're dealing with dating issues, like stay away from porn and actually just focus on, you know, accepting rejection. Not everyone's going to want you, but eventually, like you said, there's one person out there that will like you. And you can only get better from mistakes.
Put the sausage down, go outside,
touch grass,
talk to people.
I was like, where are you going with that?
Pretty much just talk to as many girls as you can. Literally, that's what it sounds like to me. And it's just a numbers game.
What was the question also?
Which one for body image?
And you know, corn, right? And how it affects the mind. What would you say, like, what would y'all say about, you know, the current like promotion of sex work, right? Because if we're talking about porn, we also got to talk about corn. Yeah, if we talk about corn, we also got to talk about like after during the pandemic with the blow up of like OnlyFans and stuff like that, right? Because if it's an issue, we got to talk about the promotion of it as well. So what y'all got to say about that?
I feel like it's just, I don't have all the answers, but I have talked to people who have OnlyFans, and I feel like I'm one of the few people that, not even few people, but I don't mind being in a committed relationship with somebody who does OnlyFans and like, you know, and does porn. And like, from what I've been told, if sex work really saves, but it's kind of like a double-edged sword.
Exactly.
It's like almost being treated like a commodity, because if somebody doesn't do it, then men, who is the main consumers, is going to take it away from somebody who doesn't want to do it. Type. And I just feel like with more sexual education, maybe something, but it's really hard.
Yeah.
No cap.
Tell me understand with that. So you say
promoting people who do porn is like,
Yes.
it's like you can't criticize them because like they're trying to make a living, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if what they're doing is actually bad for society, but on the back end you still promoting it, how are you gonna get anywhere?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What I would
So my
say
only
is,
issue is, but before you start, is that, so you're saying you'd be cool with someone who's doing OnlyFans and doing porn, right? Like you could date them.
Cool, yeah.
Okay, so I have a friend.
With you or somebody else?
I have a friend who does OnlyFans, and she, you know, makes content with another guy, but she says it's hard for her to stay in a relationship because she's so used to just getting like a new guy whenever she feels like it. So, what would your take be if, like, let's say your partner was experiencing that same?
My partner?
Like, let's say your partner does it.
There's certain like stipulations I have, like that I won't date somebody who does different male performers. That's where I kind of draw. Everybody has their line.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I can respect. I can be with somebody. It's kind of changing because my life is but I can still be in a committed, deep, and intimate relationship with somebody who does like solo content.
Okay,
Right.
that's what I was gonna ask. Okay.
And then also there's people out there that like polygamous relationships. You just have to find them. And another thing is, I feel like another thing that's getting hard in the dating scene, how we talking about attachment styles. We're seeing people who have secure attachment styles, and when they get in a relationship, they last together for like 3 years, 4 years, because they know what it takes.
So for people who don't know, a secure attachment style is like someone who can trust fairly easily. They're in tune with their emotions. They communicate their issues directly, and they lead with cooperative and flexible behaviors in relationships.
That's also something we got to see about like our country, because right now cheating is glamorized. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why can't I have one marriage when I have 5? You know what I mean? Like,
I have 5 when you can have not.